Hey y'all, it's raining. It's been raining. It's been raining for a whole week. I just came back from Alabama and Mississippi. Spent about a week in Alabama seeing friends and family, and it rained the whole time. So see the bayou back there? I'm hoping that it doesn't get up over the road here, because it did that last year and we had to park up at the cemetery and walk back for about 2 or 3 weeks, I think. But wanted to tell you about my trip to Alabama, or more so coming back through and stopping in Mississippi. So I follow a YouTube channel, and most of you guys have probably heard of it, probably watch it. Scott Herbert. I'll put his links down there in the show notes. But yeah, he had reached out to me and told me that he was coming to Alabama to talk at a conference, which he did, and that he was going to go see a couple farms in Mississippi. One of them is a farm that's been up and running for a couple of years, but another one is a farm that's going to be in production this spring. And he was cool enough to extend the invite to me, and the farmers were cool with it. And so I had a really great opportunity to meet Scott Herbert, and then Jason Brown and his wife. They are the ones that have a farm that's coming up, and it'll be in production this spring. Got to spend a lot of time with him, and got to see the established farm, which is Sam McElmore's farm. By the way, Jason's farm's in Columbus, Mississippi, and Sam's farm is in Starksville, Mississippi. So it was a really great opportunity for many reasons. I got to meet Scott Herbert. Like I said, that was cool because I follow his channel, and got to meet Jason and see a farm that's starting, and seeing as that's what I want to do. I wanted to see a farm in this stage, like early on, to see what I could kind of expect, and then see the established farm of Sam's. So got to see all that, and with Jason starting this farm and buying all of these new tools and done a tremendous amount of homework. The guys put so much research and just thought and all of that into this, and he's done a lot of networking too. It was really educational and pretty inspirational, and actually kind of set the bar for me way higher, because I just seen how much time and thought he's invested into this. So in this video, I want to show you a little part of an interview that I got to talk with him. But yeah, just want to say thanks to all of the guys that I mentioned here that I got to talk to and made this happen for me. I probably got more out of this trip and stopping in Mississippi on my way back to Arkansas. I probably got more out of that one trip, that one day or half a day, than maybe I have all of the internet research and YouTube stuff. Hey y'all, it's Jason Brown here. I'm at his farm in Columbus, Mississippi, and he's going to start up a market garden here soon. He's got a lot of the infrastructure and a lot of the tools he's buying as he goes, and he's nice enough to let me look around the farm. And we went and seen our friend Sam McElmore at Bountiful Farms,
Starkville, Mississippi.
Yeah, in Starksville. And I think Jason is are getting some guidance from him going into this, and I'm going to try to get some guidance from Jason here, because I'm going to be going in soon. And so he's doing a lot of the stuff that I want to do soon. So we'll just start out. We've talked about a lot of this already, but just so people can see. So you've got a job now, a comfortable job and all of this, but you're gonna work your way into full-time market garden, I think. And
correct.
And so what was the drive? Because you were fine as you were. What was the drive to quit a 9 to 5 and go into something like this?
So, the last 8 years I've worked for the same company, and it's a consulting company. It's been quite a bit of travel, and it's technology.
Yeah.
So, for the majority of my career, I've sat at a desk behind a computer looking at a screen all day typing. And so my escape has always been to get outside and away from technology after using and supporting and doing technology all day long as a career. So when we bought the farm 5 years ago, our goal was to grow it into a business where we could work for ourselves here on the farm. Originally, because we loved horses and animals, we were doing horse boarding and riding lessons and all kinds of things like that. But we then, sort of started looking at, and this is going to sound funny, but with the horse boarding business, not only you have to deal with people being on your property
Yeah.
a lot, and you can't really control like when they want to come ride their horse, when they want to come groom their horse. There was just a lot of traffic on the farm, which we may have for the market gardening as well, but it'll be in a more controlled fashion. Like we would have a farm stand that's only open like 2 days a week for a certain number of hours. There just wouldn't be people coming and going all time of the day and night. So our goal was to really do something here on our property, work for ourselves, and finish out our working years working for us.
So this is about a lifestyle change more than anything.
Correct.
Oh.
And like you said, I mean, I've been with this company for 8 years, and it's been a great company, and I'm going to continue working there probably through this first season. I mentioned earlier today, that my wife Becky, she was working 2 part-time jobs, and so she quit one of her 2 part-time jobs at the first of this year, so that she can work here every day, a half a day. So she'll be here a half a day every day.
Okay.
And then I'll be working here in the evenings and weekends and what have you as well. So we're just kind of easing into it this first season.
Into that, and so now it's going to be a lot smoother transition, hopefully, financially and the learning curve.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and another reason it's a big thing for us is my wife was diagnosed with cancer 10 years ago, and so she has been cancer free for 10 years. It's never returned. But we've also got to figure out the health insurance side of things, being self-employed.
And I think that's some of the things that people don't think about, and that's something that I'm trying to think, because I'm employed and I have good health insurance and all this, and we take it for granted. A lot of folks do, having a decent job, and so
Right.
Have you figured?
So that's, we're trying to get the market garden up and going and get it profitable to some extent. Maybe not a complete replacement of our income initially the first year, or maybe even the first 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time period, once I have the garden up and running and we've got systems in place and procedures in place, and we're actually able to perform during those first couple of seasons, I'll start researching the ramifications of going full time, what that means for insurance, and what that means for like income tax and all the other stuff that goes along with being self-employed.
Number to start with, and he said you've got to take a number and go with it. He said, I could spend $30,000 today on my farm, or go in debt $30,000 or whatever, but do I want to do that? And so,
So I mean, where we stand on that, just to give you an idea, is that we've been working on getting everything ready for 1.5 years. We started in October of 2017.
Yes.
That's when we started. We started construction on the high tunnel in last year in March. But prior to that, in October 2017 is when we started buying some of the smaller tools and doing some of the other infrastructure work like water and different things. And over the 18 months roughly, we've invested around $15,000 so far. $10,000 of that we paid for out of our pockets cash, and then $5,000 we have debt on.
yes.
So we did. So if you think about that, that's about a third of what we've invested is debt, and 2/3 was cash.
Yeah.
So just to kind of give you a feel for for what it took for us.
That there's some things that you'd like to get, but you probably want to get this
Mhm.
rolling first, and then, you know, some of those other things may go out the window, or
Good example, paper pot transplanter. I mean,
yeah,
I
there
have
was
no
some
experience.
talk about that today.
Have no experience transplanting by hand. This is our first season. Have no experience transplanting with the paper pot, but it's a $3,000 tool plus all the consumable supplies you go through every planting. So I just, you know, we just had to forego that. You know, it's not off our list for permanent, but we're just not going to have it the first couple of years because of the expenditure. And you're right in that we pick and chose the most important tools we thought we needed. But also we spread it out over the 18 months. And so we were buying like a tool every month, and we were doing one project at a time. Like, you know, we've been working on this room, the nursery, with insulating and power, putting electricity in. Getting electricity into the high tunnel was a big project. Next big project is the walk-in cooler that we've already got everything purchased for.
Yeah,
You know, and also by taking our time, we've been able to save money because we've been able to wait and buy things as they were on sale. Like, you know, Farmer's Friend, the greens harvester, you know, we bought that during Black Friday.
so
You
they
know,
ran a sale.
Ran a sale on them. You know, same thing with some of the other tools. We waited till it was like Christmas time, and everybody was running specials.
And that was interesting because Scott Herbert was here, and that's how this all came about. And Jason was showing his walk-in cooler, which for what you're getting, you basically got for pennies on the dollar because you waited around and you found a great deal. And
Yeah, I mean, I looked for a walk-in cooler for 6 months.
yeah,
I spent 6 months looking for, and then I found two the same week,
yeah,
and I bought both of them just
And
in case.
Scott's saying that he spent multiple times what you did, many times over, and he would rather probably have what
Right.
material you got. So it's
If you watch some of Curtis Stone's videos on his walk-in coolers, you know, he buys the pre-built used walk-in cooler that has the door box that's made onto it. And in his area, Vancouver being a large city, he said he can get those for $1,000 each is what he pays for them. And you know, if you look at the CoolBot videos of how they either build a room or build the trailers, which is what Scott did, you know, you typically can do those for a couple $1,000s, is what I've figured out. So what I found was the walk-in cooler panels that are like in convenience stores and grocery stores and supermarkets and things like that. And I just bought the individual panels and they just plug together, you know. And so I found like both of mine, I bought one for $700 and one for $300.
yeah.
So for $1,000, I got two 8x8 coolers.
And
We went with. We didn't have a strategy, although it was the mainstream stuff that like Scott and Curtis and everybody grows. But we had a reasoning for that. So number one, tomatoes are always a big seller in the South, and so we're going to do cherry tomatoes. We're not going to do large vine tomatoes. So we're doing cherry tomatoes. So that was kind of just a given because we like to eat tomatoes, and tomatoes are just a big seller in the South. But then for the lettuce greens and the salad mixes and the head lettuce, and we're going to do one that's a smoothie mix and a braising mix and things like that, we have the advantage of the Air Force Base. So because we have the Air Force Base, we always have a lot of people from other parts of the country.
yes,
We have people here from Seattle, from the Midwest, from the New England, from the West Coast. And so a lot of times what we've heard, because we've gone to church, you know, with a lot of these families over the 20 years we've lived here, is they're appalled by the choices of they can't get healthy food.
yeah.
Like
Southeast, we have good food, but not healthy food.
yeah, they come from somewhere like Seattle, or they come from somewhere like New York, or somewhere on the West Coast, and they come here and they're expecting to be able to shop at maybe like a Whole Foods, or they're expecting to be able to get, you know, organic stuff, a big huge organic selection at the grocery store, and they don't. So I think we have a big market to tap into with the base because all those people from other geographic locations want local organic food that's healthy, you know, and so we're going to try to tap into that. And
So that's a huge advantage.
so growing healthy greens that can be used in multiple ways, like salads, smoothies, braising, side dishes. That seemed like a natural fit for our market yeah, I mean, we are going to diversify some, but we're going to go the opposite, right? You hear a lot of gardeners, like even Sam said it today, that he still has way too much. He grows way too many different things. So we're kind of going to, since it's not our primary income these first couple of years, we're going to go the opposite, right? We're starting small. We're only going to have 3 crops to start out with, which is the salad greens, the cherry tomatoes, and the broccoli. And the broccoli is going to be very minor.
Mm-hmm. So basically two.
Two plus an extra that we're just kind of playing with, right?
Yeah.
And then coming, if that goes well, then coming into the fall towards the shoulder season and the winter season, we want to try to do some things like carrots.
Right.
You know, that we can sell all winter long because they just store in the ground. You don't have to harvest them. You know.
So anyway, I think I'll wrap it up. But I do appreciate you letting me look over your shoulder and seeing what you've got. And I encourage anybody that's wanting to get into this, find someone. And I just came up on you by chance, Bruce Scott, and it's turned out to be a great day for me. I mean, I've got loads of information. Many hours as I've put in watching YouTube and reading books and searching websites, I've probably got that much in 3 or 4 hours that I've been here in Mississippi, stopping over and, laying eyes on it and
touching it and feeling it and seeing it's different than
Jason's handing me the Jang. He said, "This is, here's the plates and here's the brush," and showing me the seed flats. And you see these in the book and you're thinking, are those really great quality? Are they worth that? And you pick up the flats and it's like that thick of plastic. It's not these little flimsy things from the store, and so on and so on. It's just, you can't replace going and seeing another farm. So
we're going to put pictures on the website. Our website right now just has one cover page. There's actually no information on it because we just kind of didn't want to start having calls and stuff before we were ready. So it just basically says Weeds and Whiskers Farm opening soon.
So this is the name of the farm,
Weeds and Whiskers. Yeah,
Farm.
My wife looked at all the people in this space, and everybody had, I wouldn't say like commercial names, but it was like serious names. Like you had Flavorful Farms.
Yes.
So what I grow is Flavorful. Sam's is Bountiful Farms.
Right.
So I grow a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Green City Acres. I grow in the city, right? Rose Creek Farms because he's in the Rose Creek community, right?
Tyler, yeah.
So my wife wanted to do sort of a parody. She wanted to do something fun that would be easy for people to remember. Maybe it'd be a catchy name that somebody would remember in the grocery store. And so, because we were doing the vegetables and the goats, she came up with the Weeds and the Whiskers, with the weeds being the play off of vegetables and the whiskers being from the animals.
Right.
So it's kind of a even though weeds are typically viewed as a negative in market gardening,
yeah,
we're using it as sort of a spoof, right?
Yeah.
So the name of the farm is Weeds and Whiskers Farm, and the website's weedsandwhiskers.com. But right now, like I said, there's nothing up there. I haven't put anything on the website intentionally because we weren't really quite ready to start drawing a crowd.
Yeah.
So now that we're actually getting started, and when we start actually doing our first harvest, I'll probably have a lot more on the website.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate it, and I'll show you guys some pictures of what he's got, and hopefully, I think you've done said that I could, but hopefully I get to come
Absolutely
throughout the season, and
Yep.
This will be a neat chance to see from ground up, and
success and failure. I know we're gonna have some of both.
So anyway, I appreciate it.
Yep.
And that'll be it. So you got your Quicks Green harvester here.
Yep.
And the chuck goes onto this, right?
Yep. So the chuck of the drill mounts here, and the drill sits over here with the Velcro holding the drill onto the tool. And then it's been demonstrated many times online, but essentially you're holding the harvester here. You have the drill in your left hand, and as you're engaging the drill, you're sweeping it across the greens, and it's throwing the greens into the basket. And then when your basket gets full, you're dumping your basket into a tote.
And these are a little pricey, but this was one of the things today that Scott said that he absolutely wouldn't start without if he was going to do my baby greens. And the thing you got in your hand, that's one from Connor.
Yep, so this is the Mutineer, is what it's called. It's a quick change tool that supports various different types of weeding and hoe utilities. So Elliott Coleman produced what's known as the collinear hoe, and it's a thin flat hoe. And then the wire weeder has become very popular for weeding in between your harvest. So with this particular handle, it has a quick release.
So you just pull down this little
You just pull down this little
black
collar.
thing, and that's your chuck up here, basically.
Yep. So then I've got all of them on this one hoop, but essentially it just slips down in here just like an impact drill.
And so for every one of those, you've got a new hole just by click and change.
Correct. So what you typically do, according to their instructions, so to speak, is you would clip this D-ring on your belt, and then as you're out there working, you can swap heads for larger or smaller based on your need. So you have all your heads with you, and you can just swap heads instead of having to go back to the tool shed and get a different tool.
So super efficient tool, super
Right.
fast.
The collinear hoe heads don't look anything like a traditional hoe. They're very narrow. There's a wide one and a short one for getting into close crops, but they also fit the same handle, the Mutineer handle.
And as simple as that, click, and you've got.
And same exact functionality as like an impact drill.
Right.
Same exact shape, as a
Yeah,
matter of fact.
I noticed that when you had it,
I could put a Phillips head screwdriver in here and
Hit
get
it
a
with
really
click.
long screwdriver.
and click it right in. So we were talking about the flame weeders, and Connor from Neversink, he has this, so you can, I think, what is that, 18 inches wide probably?
Yeah, it's made so that on a 30-inch garden bed, you have to make
Two passes.
two passes. And the reason that he likes this one versus the larger one, like Scott has the Pyro Weeder from Farmer's Friends, and it's good, but it's more for large scale operations.
Yeah.
right? They're doing hundreds of beds.
Right.
And they got to do hundreds of beds. This is easy to pick up and carry through like a high tunnel. Like if you don't want to have to roll the door up on the high
And
tunnel,
just
you just want
pick
to
it
carry
up.
it through the regular walk